You're listening to the Nobodies podcast. It's another Somebodies session in which these nobodies bring on a somebody, or in this case, somebodies, who are experts or rising stars in their field.
This week, our somebodies are artists, collaborators, and roommates who have known each other for over 15 years. When they're not living their lives to the fullest or sharing their massive musical talents with the world, they're hosting their hilarious and entertaining new podcast called Parental Advisory, which you can find on all podcast platforms with new episodes streaming every Tuesday. This week's somebodies are Jack J and my brother, Sammy Wilk.
All right, we're recording. You start.
Okay, first of all, do not tell me what to do.
Walked right into that one.
All right, hey guys, I'm Annie.
And I'm Bryce.
And we are the Nobodies, experts on nothing.
Opinions on everything.
Come on.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nobodies.
Hey
Hi,
guys.
thanks for being here.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for coming, you guys.
Absolutely. We've been waiting
Really
for a while.
appreciate it.
We're glad we could finally make it happen.
I know.
We need to do some sort of like crossover.
Yes, absolutely.
You're like, yeah, like you know how they do like Grey's Anatomy does a crossover event. That's what we have to do. Like one follows another.
Exactly.
Yes.
No,
This is
we
pretty
need to
good.
get
This
them
is
on ours. Exactly, because we want to do like siblings already. You know what I'm saying? Like on our parental one, and so we want to like bring you guys on. We want to bring like I don't know if I want to bring Jeff on. Honestly, I'm just playing.
Is that your brother? You don't want to bring him on?
No. I'm completely kidding. He lives in Colorado, so he probably has a lot of interesting, perspective on life and just like, very different lifestyle for me. But absolutely, we got to cross over to the fullest extent. You feel me? I'm glad this is the first dipping our toes in, though.
Foray,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
Well, first and foremost, we want to thank you guys for shouting us out on your podcast. You shouted out Annie because she is in your theme song, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
It was my musical debut, actually. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Hey,
I didn't.
What are you guys watching? Yeah, and we didn't even give you anything to sing. We just gave you like a phrase to say.
But that was a favor to the listeners to not give me something to sing because I'm 100% tone deaf.
I'm not buying it, Ann.
No, I really am. I really am.
No way.
I disagree with that too.
You've never heard me sing? I don't even know if T has heard me sing. Aside from like screaming in the car.
I think you probably sell yourself short. Everyone's their own biggest critic, I'm just,
You've got some tone in there.
Sammy's got some tone. I hear Benny singing around the house in the shower and shit. I mean, it's got to run in the family a little bit.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I would think, Jack. I would think that.
No, I appreciate that, but
I mean, I
I
could tell
disagree more.
your tone in our little song. I mean, it was fucking exquisite. I couldn't have asked for anything more.
Oh yeah, we're like just trying to act like
you.
an upset mom, and I think the original audio was me doing it because I think I had the highest voice out of all the boys, for being honest.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to emulate like a mad mom and like pitch up my voice a little bit, and I was like, it sounds a little weird. And then bam, you walked in, and we're like, wow, our saving grace. So.
The timing was perfect. Well, not used to do like this a lot, but for my old company that I worked for, I did the voiceovers for all their videos.
Oh, so you already
like
experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to. The guy that did all the video stuff for my old company would be like, just put on your sorority girl voice, and I would be like, oh, okay. And so then when I would do that, it was exactly what they wanted for this promo video.
You could easily
Put your sorority voice.
Yeah.
Like you could make a weather. What, can you hear me, Annie?
Newscaster. Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
Okay, it kind of glitched out. I couldn't tell. You could definitely like a
That's us.
weather host.
Yeah, people told me that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. T says I just have a very professional like voice all the time because I enunciate everything.
Well, it's because you're in a professional career. Like you're you're a professional
human.
Well, and my success depends on what I say.
Correct.
But also, thank God you know how to talk because clearly I don't. So
that's
at least
true.
one of us.
Somebody has to carry this. Yes.
Okay, so for even though the majority of our listeners came here because they're your listeners, can you guys tell everybody about your podcast, what it's called, who you do it with?
Yeah, the rundown. So
it's called rundown.
Yeah, it's called Parental Advisory, and we kind of wanted to make it. We wanted to let people know it's going to be a little edgy. We really try not to filter ourselves because I'm sure, as you guys know, in podcasting, it's like if you're constantly walking on broken glass and holding your tongue, like it just makes it kind of a watered down version of who you are. And so, you know, we as guys, we have like, you know, like stupid ass, you know, like raunchy ass conversations, and we're like, shit, you know, those are going to come out. So Parental Advisory, 3 of the 4 of us do music. So it felt like we could make a play on the logo for our logo. And so it's me, Sammy, our buddy Jack G, and our buddy Brant. And you might be like, whoa, that's a lot of, you know, fucking people for a podcast, which we got to get better at still talking over each other. It's definitely progressed in the first 14 episodes. But yeah, that's pretty much the rundown. It's pretty open-ended.
We don't really hold back much. We probably tell a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But it's anywhere. It's just life experiences, whether it's partying or music or sex or fucking just literally experience, high school experiences, whatever it is. We kind of talk about it, and then if we need to edit something out in the end, we will do that. But
yeah, there's been some edits for sure.
yeah, there's been some good edits,
and we've already been canceled like 4 times too.
Well, the fact that it is edited so does surprise me a little, only because I do listen to it, and the stuff that makes the cut, some of it is really intense.
Yeah. It's very intense.
There's times when I mean, we'll have like a guest on. We had Harry Jowsey on, and he was talking about some super raunchy shit. So
yeah, that was like, completely out of pocket.
That was a lot.
I was for sure blushing.
Well, going back real quick, how did this idea for a podcast come about? Were you guys approached? Was it something that you were all looking to collaborate on something? What was that?
It was originally you and Bruce.
Yeah, me and Brant were gonna do one, and
honestly, you lovingly call Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce, exactly. I'm gonna call him Bruce just because, like, who the fuck calls him Brant? Nobody on earth.
I forget
his mom literally calls him Bruce now. Like, not even his birthday. But so yeah, me and Brant were gonna do one, and then Sammy and G. I mean, like, it was weird because there was even a time where I approached Sammy, like, Sammy, do you want to do one? And like then like Brant also wanted to do one, and then obviously like Jack G is like our best friend too. And then we were just like, shit, should we just like all 4 kind of just combine our power together in our conversations that we have behind the scenes together and just make it like a 4-piece? We were like, is that too many? But we're like, fuck, we might as well just try it. And, you know, not like exclude anyone. You know, 3 of us were already living in the same house together. We had a perfect room to set up in. And, you know, it's the new medium, as you guys know. I mean, you guys were part of the inspiration. We saw you guys doing it well before us. And we were just like, shit, it's such the new age medium, you know?
True.
And so, yeah, it just seemed like a no-brainer. We just love having conversations, love just, you know, talking about life, what the fuck's going on in the world. And it's weird because you can't just like say that on your Instagram stories because then it just gets long and drawn out and shit. It's like, so it was the perfect platform, we felt like. And
it goes away. I mean.
Exactly. Yeah, it only exists for 24 hours. So
this unfortunately lives forever.
Exactly.
Seriously.
I mean, it's true. It definitely lives forever. But yeah, in the general sense, it's only on your profile for 24 hours. So it's like, that just defeats the purpose of everything. You know, when you really want to have conversations that stick around, people can come back to great moments that they love. They can always like go back and watch. And so, I mean, yeah, it just seems like the new age medium, and you know, it's still relatively early though. I think it's still in its infancy. And so we were like, shit, there's not many like people our age, like really, really diving in heavy on the podcasting. So what might as well just put our best foot forward, I suppose.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you guys, I mean, you're so successful on the music side. It was just interesting to me what kind of like inspired you, what interested you in a podcast, because, you know, I mean, like you said, you can put, I guess it is just a way, like you guys were saying, how you can put out things really fast. I mean, it's a great creative outlet, but you can also put out content constantly.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, sorry, Sammy, not to cut you off, but to Bryce's point, like you guys are technically, I think, Gen Z, and he and I are millennials, and I don't think because Gen Z is right after millennials, right?
I think so. Thank you for not calling me Gen X either.
Well, you're a baby boomer. But no, like you guys, I think technically by like maybe 1 year are considered Gen Z. And there's not a lot of Gen Zers that are doing podcasts. But on the other side, like every millennial and their mom is doing a podcast. So it is.
What are the years for millennials?
I think Ben falls into millennials. But I think it's from like 93 back to 83.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Something like, or no, I guess it would be even further than that.
I think so millennials, they're kind of like the people who were like pretty cognizant when the turn of the millennium happened. You know, they were like at least like, you know, having their own thoughts. Like we were like, what, 4 years old? Like we probably didn't really like get this whole like, you know, Y2K bug, and we probably had no idea what the fuck that was, you know, like, and so maybe that's where like the cutoff is.
Y2K bug.
I'm just guessing. Like, shit,
Yeah, no. I think that's really accurate because
I
I
think so too.
distinctly remember mom and dad's party they had for the year 2000 on New Year's Eve in the backyard. Like I distinctly remember who was there and everything because I was 11. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably exactly what it is.
But totally, to your point, that's well said. You know, I think we saw there was like kind of a gap in our gen, and you know, a lot of our fans even are younger than us, and so we saw it as an opportunity, you know, just to kind of, you know, put our toes in the medium, just, you know, try and put our best foot forward and just start going crazy every week.
I will say for our listeners that maybe are not aware of your podcast, don't listen to it with kids in the car.
Correct.
I mean, don't listen to our podcast with kids in the car either. But
true. But no, I will say I listened to the podcast. And Sammy, confirm or deny, weekly when I listen, I call you laughing out loud at something.
Every single episode.
Every single week. It's usually honestly some bizarre tangent that G has gone off on.
That happens a lot.
I never knew he was so like philosophical. When the one thing I will never forget, it might have been your first episode when you guys were talking about brains and memories.
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
And G said, do memories take up like physical space in your brain? And I lost my shit. But I always FaceTime Sammy every time I listen. I don't
know if it's G being deep or just being an idiot, you know? Like it's a weird line he walks, you know?
It is, and you're never quite sure what side he believes he's on.
He'll propose this very like vague, open-ended question that like none of us can answer. I mean, that one we were like, no, dude, they don't take up like physical space.
Or he'll be like, if you guys could be anything at all, ever, like what would it be? And you guys are all like, ever?
Like, where's the cap on this question?
You said Earth.
I liked when you guys just in a recent episode, you guys were talking about how if you sit like men sitting with their leg crossed, like how it means that you're wise. Yeah. And I'm not kidding you. I was like, oh my God, that is so genius, because when guys wouldn't sit, I would never, like in high school or whatever, maybe because our balls haven't dropped yet, but like I would never sit like with like kind of like this, Annie. Like this with your legs like totally crossed. Hang on,
get those thighs out, Bryce. Come on.
Yeah, like this.
I hate it when you put your legs on the podcast.
I know it's all the time anymore now.
No, but if you sit with them fully crossed like a woman, Sammy sits like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, so that's what they were saying. But so let's explain what you were talking about.
Yeah. I used to for sure not sit like that. Because it's like flamboyant, or it's like, you know, it's girly or whatever. But now it's like pure fucking wisdom comes out of that.
Wisdom.
That's hysterical. Because
what does this guy know that I
got a glass of whiskey in my hand. I got my legs crossed.
I just feel like it can't be that comfortable for you.
No, but we have already discussed this. We discussed how
you gotta split the.
Yeah, you gotta.
So if you guys
gotta arrange,
you gotta arrange for sure.
I think it does have to deal
we don't
with.
need to get into detail.
I think it does have to deal with gravity. That's all I'll say. I think it does have to deal with gravity, because once gravity sets in, it's a little bit easier. Yeah. Pretty sure, but I'll
that's
let
probably
you guys
just for you, Bryce, because you're quite a bit older than them. So
just gotta find the sweet spot. That's all it's about. You know?
That's very true. No, and I think that's what I would say. But you guys go listen to that. That was hysterical. I just thought that was so funny. I was like, "How this is so relatable."
It's some real shit.
It is. It's hysterical. I think a lot of our listeners would enjoy it, but like I said, just don't have kids in the car.
Well, agreed. So it's called Parental Advisory for a reason. Do your parents listen? And if they do, what do they think of it?
I think Mama Wilk listens to the majority of them. I texted her once and said, "Don't listen to this one."
Harry's?
Yeah, Harry's.
Hey, don't go listen to Harry's.
Yeah, I mean, I think she does. But my mom, she told me recently, she's like, I want to read what's it like when you write a story, like a
biography,
you write about your life. Yeah, she's like, I want to read your like autobiography. And so I think this is like my version of my autobiography that she's
getting it piece by piece.
She's getting some stories from back in the day that she never has ever heard. So I think she enjoys it. Obviously, you know, we probably tell a little bit too much. But.
Yeah, it obviously parental advisory. Like, mom, don't listen to it, but
Yeah.
their moms, like, they're going to. My dad could care less. I mean, he'll listen to a few like here and there, but he's a dad, whatever that means. Yeah, my mom definitely, like, there was a few times where like I talked about like my first time where like she smoked weed with me, and she was like, Jack Johnson, I work at a corporate business and I've been working there for 30 years. And I'm like, Mom, I promise none of your friends are tapped into our podcast or any of your employees or your bosses. I promise you, Mom. And she was just like, don't expose me like that. She's like, you never know who could hear that. And I'm like, Mom, okay, I'll be better about it, but we got to be real, And so I think she might be better off just like, letting some of them go to the wayside, but she likes to, support her boy. So I appreciate it either way.
You guys have talked, like we've said, we talk about some hilarious and also ridiculous shit on your show, but what do you think the most outrageous revelation has been? Do you guys have, or is there anything that you guys have been friends for so long. Is there anything you didn't know that somebody said?
Well, there was one where we were talking about, I don't know if it's more of a revelation, but we were like, who would the hottest be like as a girl out of the boys? And I think we all came to the conclusion. I think Sammy was the top dog.
Really? I thought it was G. I think his bone structure.
He had a little too much of a jaw. We were like, not that girls can't have jaws. We're not saying that, but
it was being a little masculine.
You just felt like that perfect sweet spot. You have the pretty eyelashes, and so I think Sammy would be the hottest girl. Is our biggest revelation thus far.
Wow.
I mean, he looks a lot like Emily, and Emily's quite a smoke show, so.
You guys are too nice.
It makes sense.
I think
probably said Sammy too, actually.
I think the revelation that I came up with during this conversation is that if he shaved his beard, he's the Emma Watson of hot guys, hot girls.
Hey, I'll take that all day.
It's like Emma
no,
Watson
but you also called me. You also said I'd be like an e-girl, like a cat girl or something. Like some weird shit.
Yeah.
That was in a different.
I do remember that conversation. Have you guys noticed as you kind of roll through more and more of these episodes, do each of you kind of slot into a role? Like, for example, Bryce plans everything. Granted, he's a producer for his real job too, so like it's very second nature to him.
Yeah.
I just show up and like I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. But that's kind of the
true.
roles that we've slotted into.
Annie does not do that. Annie knows more. Annie's like a walking encyclopedia. Every time I walk in, I'm like, oh, I'm going to stump her. She's not going to know anything about this. And I'm like, I should probably send her something. And then I don't. And she's like, so here's the thing about that. I'm like, I don't even have that information on my.
How did you research this when I didn't even tell you about the topic?
I know. Like, how do you even know this?
I never know the topics going in. Truly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Roles wise, like I would like to say like we kind of all just like might have some talking points that we want to talk about, and we try not to tell the other guys because like you said, you want to catch them off guard and get their like true opinion, and maybe you're the one bringing in the research. The first couple episodes we tried to do a little too much structure, I think, and that made it like feel like we had to transition from this topic to this topic. I think we notice now like we just have these things, whether they're on our laptops or on our phone notes, that we want to talk about, and if they come up, they come up. If we go on some crazy tangents, we go on some crazy tangents. I do say G always starts every ad read. I don't know how that started happening, but he's become that guy. You know what I'm saying? Which is very random, like, very minuscule role in terms of, but I would say we all kind of share, the roles across the board. If anybody has something to interject, if anybody has a new topic they want to talk about that they feel like kind of segues off the back of the current topic, then, they do it. And so I would say there's not too much structure and not too much like role playing in terms of parental advisory.
I think Jay's you're very smart, and so I think a lot of times if we have to say something, or if we like plan to say something, you take.
I'll be the one who brings it up.
Yeah, that's your role.
I think I would probably say I have like the most like topics in my arsenal that are like pre-planned.
Yeah.
But like you guys will always just like propose a crazy metaphysical question or something.
Yeah.
I think we're also. You guys have a really good. I mean, you have a really good balance, and I think it really depends on. I mean, from what we've learned in podcasting, it's like obviously each show is different. So like, I mean, we might gravitate toward more structure, whereas you guys don't need that because you have such familiarity. And not that Annie and I don't, but it's like you just have that. You have so much. You have such a catalog of stories and things that you guys hang out together all the time. And so I think it's really cool to see how easy how like when you're listening, it's such an easy listen, and it's so easy for you guys to just piggyback off each other so quickly, which is awesome. So
Well, yeah, appreciate you saying that, Bryce. No, and it definitely like it feels like we're getting better and better at it as each episode progresses.
you guys also you mentioned guests that you guys have started recently having guests on. You've had Harry Jossie from Too Hot to Handle, which apparently we're not supposed to listen to promote that. I'm just kidding. Also had a couple members of the band Pretty Much. Who would you guys love to have on the show in the future?
That's a good question.
There's so many names that we cycle through. But
Has anybody approached you guys, or is that so? I mean, you don't have to say who they are, but
Yeah, no, we've had a few people like reaching out to like our production company. I will say though, I think, and like I know you guys have done this. I think the best, like the most interesting people I want to have on aren't even like people that I know or like that are in the entertainment world. Like more so like scientists and doctors and like like sex experts or like I don't know, like random like interesting shit that like we don't necessarily know. Like
the psychic that you guys had on.
Yeah, you guys had a psychic. I saw someone who could just teach us about like a whole new like realm that's not attached to this entertainment industry, because it's easy for us to bring on all our entertainment friends, but I think at the end of the day, we want to broaden our perspective. I mean, this podcast is also about us learning, which I'm sure you guys can attest to. You've probably learned so much from like having this array of guests on, and it's definitely it's a perspective building thing for us too, I think at the same time. So we want to kind of get out of just having like, our typical industry friends on every single time and just broaden our horizons and, like bring people on who will really teach us shit at the same time.
Yeah. So this is getting more, this is more of like a random question, but do you guys have any like, I'm leading into something with this, but do you guys have any like guilty pleasures, like music wise, since you are all in music, movies, TVs, or anything that you like, that you're like, God, I love to hate this or anything?
You would love to, but you actually love it deep down type shit. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to think.
Well, I know you're kind of a Bachelor guy, aren't you? Bachelorette?
Yeah, I'm a big Bachelor guy.
I never got too into it. I watched the Colton season for a little bit. Like him and Stas were getting me into it, and I just like, I don't know. It just wasn't for me.
I didn't watch this last season though with what's his name? Matt?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I heard it wasn't that great of a season. But I
quit 3 weeks in, so.
Oh, okay. Well, big Bachelor guy. I need to get back into that life though.
I definitely
Sammy, I'm surprised by that. I mean, not totally, but I feel like that seems like, I feel like you'd be more like a Too Hot to Handle or like a, maybe a little bit racier type show.
No, I don't know.
Sammy is
because
such a hopeless romantic.
Has he told you like he was like in the final rounds of like one of these reality shows or something?
Really?
Or something or the other.
It was like they basically asked for me to be on the show. I went to the casting team of MTV, and they wanted me on it, and I just said no.
Just realized it wasn't your vibe.
Up for me.
Okay, well,
which show was it?
Yeah,
I think it was Love Island.
Ooh.
Oh, we tried to get Bryce to do that.
Yeah, somebody sent me an application, but Sammy, I was leading into this because I told Annie, I had like an epiphany the other day, or not, it was like a couple weeks ago, but I was like, I'm a huge fan of the show Big Brother. Like I'm obsessed with it. I host an after show. I used to work on the show, whatever. But I was like, Sammy should go on Big Brother. Like, because there's a few reasons why. One, because everybody fucking likes you. So like it's all about a game.
Well, hold up, Bryce. I wouldn't go that far.
No, it's like a game. It's like a game of you basically have to like create alliances, and then you have to like vote people out of this house that's on the soundstage. But I was like,
so is it like a reality show?
Those games
it
are
is
dope.
like a reality show. It is like a reality show. It's on every summer, but it's like basically you go into a house and then you have to like find these people and you have to like be friends with. You have to befriend everybody and kind of like sort of like make. Like plant stuff in their heads, like, oh, you should go and do this, or you should like target this person or whatever. And I was just, I don't know why, I don't no idea, but I told Annie, and she's like, Sammy can never be without his phone. He couldn't be without his phone for 3 months. So like,
I said
he can manipulate anyone. I'm telling you.
That's what I'm saying.
All he has to do is grin and like tell him a little secret, and like they trust him for life. You know what I'm saying? The way I see
he would win it, but he wouldn't be able to be away like from. I didn't say his phone. I said I don't think he'd be able to be away from his people. Like,
oh yeah, that's right.
Like it was more that like you have like you crave your people.
Yeah, unless I could find somebody like on Big Brother? Is it all men? Big Brother? No.
No,
It's co-ed. So it's
I've
like
seen a few episodes. For
Yeah,
sure.
I can-
Sammy would get through it because
You'd
he would
be in a
have
showmance.
a weekend romance with every
Yeah.
girl and just get
Yeah.
a new one as they got voted off.
If I can just create a little rom-com every weekend.
A
Then
little
Yeah,
fling,
there you
a little
go.
weekend warrior.
I was
That's what
going
they
to
call
say Sammy's guilty pleasure is romantic comedies.
yeah.
them. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I'd be in that
What's
boat
your
too,
favorite?
for sure.
Yeah.
What are your guys'
You guys
favorite?
have both recommended good ones to me.
Fool's Gold is just so fire. I love anything McConaughey.
Yeah,
Um,
McConaughey melts my fucking heart.
He had a good spree. He had a good spree of cheesy ass rom coms, which I think he had to get out of his system until he really started winning awards and shit and going crazy.
Definitely.
He talks about that, Jack. He
Really?
did an episode of Armchair Expert, which is another podcast I talk about all the time, but with Dak Shepard. And he said that on there. He said he went through a rom-com phase and he felt like he needed to get through that before people could take him seriously.
Just really propel himself into the limelight and then shift.
Yeah.
focus. I think it made sense.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
He has a great
totally.
trajectory the way his career went. I think he did it right for sure.
Yeah.
So Jack, would you ever go on a reality show, or have you ever been approached, or would either of you ever act like
Act for sure.
Act for sure.
I think that's all.
I love acting just because we've been doing skits since the Vine era for sure.
Yeah.
And so acting without a doubt. Reality show I'm so into the Survivors, the Amazing Races, the more the ones that aren't relationship based. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't.
You would be so good on The Amazing Race.
I agree.
I love that's
guys
one of
should
my
do it
favorites for
together.
sure. As a tandem,
That'd be so.
that would
Yeah.
be crazy. Oh my god! Is that show still airing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's
But
still
I used to watch Survivor with my dad all the time. That one might be a little too, jungly and survive off the land for me. I can't even start a fire.
So just to keep promoting Big Brother, that Big Brother is basically Survivor in a house.
That's why,
competitions and all this stupid stuff. The competition
much more appealing to me. That kind of game show or reality show, definitely.
Yeah. It's like a
Johnson can
competition.
use his brain. If he can use his brain, then he'll fucking outshine everybody.
I'll try.
That's why
Yeah.
I think he'd be so good at The Amazing Race.
Yeah, or Survivor. I mean, to build things, to figure out how to, whatever. But anyway,
Big
I
Brother,
would
though, I
be
feel
the
like-
first
I feel
out
like
on
we should watch Big
Survivor
Brother.
because
yeah,
I am not messing with bugs.
I know.
Yeah,
that.
no, I feel you. I fucking will turn and flee at the sight of an arachnid or whatever.
Yeah.
Please. At the side of an arachnid.
No, for sure. They gotta eat grubs and shit. I'm like, no.
Okay, well, so everybody by this point should know that you're both musicians. You have been for a long time. You've been out here. How long have you guys been in LA?
You came out
December 2014.
I came in January 2015.
Yeah, you were a few months after me.
Yeah.
So six-ish years. Well, anyway, I want to know what are your who are your musical influences? I put influencers on my paper. Growing up, who did you guys love when you were growing up?
I think when I really got, I listened to the radio for the most part, whatever Annie and Emily and Ben were listening to. Ben put me on Tupac when I was younger, but I think when I really started to enjoy music to a different level was when CJ, who was my sister's ex at the time, he was in a reggae band and he was taking me to all these reggae shows and showing me all the Iration, that we listened to in high school, which was Iration and Revolution,
Tribal
and
Seeds,
the movement,
Soulja,
yeah. Very reggae, pop bands. And then through from probably 6th, 7th grade through high school, that was the main music that I feel our friend group really listened
and wouldn't you
to.
say there was sort of that hybrid like air, let's say, or it was almost reggae, chill guitar licks with kind of a hip hop vibe.
Yes, absolutely.
And I feel that definitely influenced your shit a lot.
100%.
Well, your first album was a reggae album.
Straight up, yeah.
That was that was just what I enjoyed. That's what I listened to, and air when a little hip hop started coming.
Yeah, it was reggae hip hop vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you could hybridize two genres.
Yeah.
Which was still a banging album. Ready for War. That's a timeless Sammy Wilk genre right there. I'm saying.
I have Ready for War lyrics tattooed on my arm.
Which ones?
Yeah.
Hey, Mom, what you looking at?
God, no, I really missed an opportunity with that one, though.
Yeah.
Those are the deepest to me.
All you have to do is this is just put your arm out. Hey, Mom, what are you looking at?
That would be hilarious. No, I got Baby Just Hold On.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby, just hold on.
You know I'm here for you.
Yeah, that's
No, but I really love. I
Yeah.
love that project.
Jack, what about you? Was that similar to you, or did you have?
Definitely like on the reggae vibe. Like, that was like our high school shit. It was like really just reggae and hip hop for the most part, through and through. But I would say, like, going back a little earlier, I started like writing raps to myself like in like second, third grade. I started like really just like, I just always loved hip hop. And this was when like 50 Cent and Ludacris and Eminem and Lil Wayne were all over the radio. And all I really knew was like, all I really had access to was like radio music at the time. I would sneak into my brother's room. I would like, play Lose Yourself by Eminem on the explicit version, because my mom wouldn't let me listen to explicit stuff yet while he's sleeping. Like, I would steal his iPod and bring it back into my room. And that was the first hip hop song I ever memorized for sure. But then I would say once we got like it was our school laptops actually.
Mhm.
We got our first like school issue laptops in middle school. You were still at CTK.
Yep.
And you could download music onto your iTunes library from like hotnewhiphop.com or like, DatPiff, these mixtape websites. And so I would like Lil Wayne specifically was like literally like 95% of my library. Like every mixtape he had, any song he put out, I knew it. And like that, like he was like my religion as a musical artist, and his metaphors and his punchlines, he definitely influenced me in the biggest way in terms of hip hop, being a rapper and whatnot. And so I would say that my parents were always playing like, classic rock, Aerosmith, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen around the house, which I wouldn't say plays much into my music, but I still draw inspiration from it in a way, just seeing like the old days of rock stars. Cause I think like hip hop is kind of like the new rock star in a sense, in this current climate we live in. And so I feel like I'm at a very good, crossroads with what's hot in the world. Like, hip hop's kind of the new pop right now. And that's always been like my favorite genre. And I will incorporate some reggae elements into stuff too, and so, yeah, that's kind of, I guess, that's
Sounds like a real smorgasbord of like really, I mean, in a good way, like a real thing, like you guys have very, different, you have a lot on your palette,
Mhm.
For
I think
sure.
That's really cool.
And like we like country now too, even, like which we never used to like, I feel like. But yeah.
Oh, interesting. Bryce loves country. I don't.
I
do
love
not.
country. Only when I moved out
Depends
here.
the artist. Depends
Yeah.
the artist, I think,
Yeah.
Very hit or miss.
I bought Sammy a 50 Cent CD for his 11th birthday.
The Massacre?
And probably, I don't even remember which one
Is
it
the one where
was.
like he's all ripped up on the cover and shit. Like,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was, what is it?
it's probably Get Rich or Die Trying.
In the club.
In the club. Get Rich or Die Trying. It could have been
Yeah,
that one.
I think it might have been Get Rich or Die Trying, but as soon as he opened it, mom was like, absolutely not taking that. And so, and I know that I was old enough to drive. So that's how I know that it was your 11th birthday, because I took you to Target with me to return it. And when we were returning it, the woman, the like sales clerk or whatever, cashier, the cashier was like, oh, how old were you when you had him? And I was like, what?
You've gotten that now. That's like part of your life now.
Oh, everybody always calls me Sammy's mom. And I'm like, listen, I was 6 when he was born.
You've always been an old soul, Annie.
Oh my
That is
God.
ridiculous. I'm weak.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So, Jack, you teased that you would put out a new song called Full Court if you got 20,000 comments today. Did it happen, or has it happened yet?
Let me check actually.
What do you
I was at
have?
like 11,000
I was
last time I checked.
just gonna
Damn.
look.
All right, let's flood it. Well, where are you? Like, what's next? Like, maybe while you're looking, Jack, Sammy, what's next for you guys musically? Like, what are you?
Yeah, I mean,
13,000. We're getting there.
13.
Yeah.
There we go. 7 more.
Oh, it's getting close.
7 more.
We're
We
getting
got
there.
this.
That's fucking good. Honestly.
I need you guys to spam it, all right? Once we're
Yeah,
done
we're
with this
gonna
episode.
spam. We're gonna spam.
No, but music wise, I'm getting to a place where I wanted to start dropping. I know last time we did this was during the pandemic. No, I think I did a solo one.
Yeah.
I think I was talking about dropping an EP, maybe an album, and I still haven't dropped any fucking music. I've been writing a good amount, but I've been probably a little bit too focused on podcasting and trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing in my life.
For sure. It is hard to balance.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it is. It's a huge. That was gonna be my follow up. Is that is podcasting kind of taking sort of a front seat for you guys at this point?
I think just while we were starting it up and getting it off the ground, yeah, it's brand new. So we're excited about it, and I think it's just we got to get off the ground, and once that's moving, then we can, at least me personally, then it'll be easier for me to transition, like keep the music and the podcast balanced out. But I actually am shooting a music video for a new song. I think at the end of this week, which I'm really excited about. And then once I start, I really just want to start doing singles with videos every like month, and not do an EP. I don't think people have the attention span right now for. I mean, Pastel's doing super well, but I think I want to try to just focus on singles and videos. It'll be easier for me to attack one thing and release that rather than try to package together a whole project.
No, there definitely is something to that, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because like then, okay, just keep dropping singles until that one song just like, and then you have this catalog of all the old shit you've already put out, you know what I'm saying? But once that one song clicks, then it's time for a project, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a good way to go about it too. So yeah, I feel like there's, I'm in the same boat for sure. Like podcasting is definitely taking a front seat. We're definitely not in the studio as much as we should be. We talk about it all the time. Like, let's get in, and then we get distracted with some shit. And so, yeah, I think we'll we got on the horizon though.
Yeah.
I've been listening to his shit. The shit we've been making has been awesome.
Yeah,
Well, you guys, when we go over to your house, it's like you just drop a beat, and it's like, oh wait, that's like the coolest thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
It's my favorite thing when we've been like out and we go back to your house, and all of a sudden Jay goes into like wizard mode and just like puts together a beat in 5 minutes, and it's like, and you guys did a song.
Yo,
you know the one with T that we made?
Yeah. You guys need to release that.
She like Chardonnay.
She like Chardonnay. Yeah,
that's a fucking great song.
Such a good song. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys need to put that one out.
All right, so Annie knows how much I love segments on our podcast. So I want to play a little Would You Rather, really rapid fire, to finish our music discussion. I'm calling this segment Superior Sound. So basically, I'm going to say two artists, and you just have to tell me which music do you like better.
Okay.
Annie, do you want to participate?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the first one is Cardi B or Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, really?
She writes.
Yeah, you got to go Nicki. She's the queen.
Yeah, she's the queen.
All right.
Nicki Minaj, her old pop shit, and what was that called? Pink, whatever that Pink.
Pink Print.
Yeah.
Pink Print. I used to
love that shit. Let's go to the wife.
I used to love that shit.
Come on. She's the queen.
Cardi's just a little annoying to me sometimes. Like her voice. I mean, no offense, but I think she overdoes it for the cameras sometimes. And I'm like,
she's a character. Like she is a caricature of herself.
Yeah,
and she does have bangers too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
100%. Yeah, but Nicki is like who she is all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, interesting. Okay, so Taylor Swift or Katy Perry?
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
I love some Swift Johns, but Katie's just got just so many like pure pop classics,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. So does Taylor, but I guess I just gravitate more to Katie's catalog, I'd say.
Annie,
we know why I chose.
You want to change your answer? Okay.
Annie's least favorite artist
is Taylor Swift. She hates Taylor Swift. All right, so Zayn Malik or Harry Styles?
Harry Styles.
Harry, for sure.
Harry.
Zayn has some solid shit, but Harry's is like fucking.
Harry's just a fucking star through and through. He doesn't shy away from the spotlight. Like our manager used to be on like Zayn's team, and he would have these huge opportunities to perform these huge award shows, and he would just get anxious about it. Which there's nothing wrong with that, But I think Harry just like really, he has more of an identity right now, and his last rock project I think is like just so him. It's like it just really transcends. It just hits me a little different.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to evolve as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know much as much about Zayn, but I feel like that's like Harry. Okay, Miley Cyrus or Ariana Grande? I don't know why I said it like that.
Miley.
Ooh.
I'd say Miley.
Miley's got some good music, but Ariana's got some great music too.
I love the rawness, I think, of Miley's voice a little bit more. Ariana's so polished and perfect for the pop world, but Miley just like seems like a young, just like a rock girl more so, you know, which I think is
and
sick.
the remix that Miley did on her last album and like the duets or the collabs that she had were so fucking good.
So she's got like some grit to her tone, you can tell she's like smoked weed for her whole life, like for the last 10 years.
Since she was like 6.
I like that grit a little bit,
She's got a very attractive voice. Like just her voice is attractive.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, last one is Justin Bieber or Nick Jonas?
Justin Bieber.
I'd say Bieber, yeah.
Oh God, all right. I thought that was a pretty good one.
I mean,
I love Nick. Like his shit is dope. We used to be like label mates at Island, and super sweet dude. And yeah, I don't know. Justin just like has that swag about him.
would you say Justin Bieber or One Direction?
I ain't gonna lie though, his new project was kind of mid grade to me though. There were some great songs on there, but yeah, I don't know. It just like didn't. I don't know.
Bieber's like Journals project was fucking great.
Ooh, fire. Yeah.
I don't know, but I would for sure go Bieber over Nick Jonas.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, thank you guys for playing. That was just a little segment. So before we get to our another special segment, on a recent episode of our podcast, Annie and I talked about friendship deal breakers. I, for one, am always worried about being too annoying to Annie. You guys are roommates, frequent music collaborators, podcast hosts, best friends for years and years. How do you guys still stand each other?
It's a great question, Bryce.
Yeah.
I must say.
Surprising. That's a good question. Surprisingly, though, me and Johnson, we don't really have too many little fights. Like, I feel like we give each other space, and we don't step on each other's toes too much.
We'll get chippy sometimes.
Definitely
for sure,
get chippy as fuck sometimes.
Because Sammy.
Yeah, well, we know what happened when you beat Sammy in beer pong. So.
Oh my god! Yeah, liquor definitely accentuates some friendly beefs. I will say that. But there was this one time, Sammy, as you guys know, he mumbles a lot. He sometimes his sentences just like blend together. And I remember this one day we were out by the pool, and he said he was like something about a smoothie, and I was like, yeah, let me know when you get one, and then he said something like, and I was like, what? And he's like, I was like, what are you saying? He's like, do you want a fucking smoothie or not? And I was like, bro, I couldn't hear what you were saying, bro. Like, I'm not trying to like sneak this you, like acting like I know it. And then he ended up ordering it without me, and like I went and drove to get my own I went to drive to get my own smoothie from the same place he ordered from, like all passive aggressively. And like we were just like mad at each other for a few hours.
Yeah,
and I was like, bro, I just like couldn't understand you, bro. Like, he thinks I can't hear, so
Yeah,
maybe
bad hearing. And no, that was actually funny because you went and then like we saw each other and just like
and we were about drinking our smoothies and like
we were like, we're like drinking dude.
But yeah, maybe I'm a little hard of hearing, and maybe he just mumbles a little bit too much.
No, I definitely mumble.
That's amazing.
That sounds like an argument T and I would have.
Yeah.
Because he's very similar. Like Sammy and T both mumble, but they can understand each other's mumbles.
Yeah.
And
They're
I'm like,
whisperers.
yeah, no, it's not even a whisper. It's literally like
No, they're whisperers for each other. Like,
oh yeah, because like 7 words become one sound. And I'm like you, Jay. I'm like, what? And then after the second what, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Like I catch an attitude.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I feel
Johnson's he's like a speed talker, and I feel like I used to talk really fast, but you just kept talking faster. But now I'm used to it, so I can understand his fast talking.
Yeah,
like, he just fucking his ears.
I remember we were at dinner like back in high school, like with your parents once.
Yeah,
and your mom was like, Sammy, how are you understanding what he's saying? Like she was just fucking with me a little bit. Like, because we were just having this, and this when you were talking really fast too, I think. And she was like, "What is this conversation they're having? I can't even hear it. Like, it's like not even processing in my earlobe. It's insane." But yeah, we just have some vocal nuances we got to get over, I guess.
Yeah,
that's great.
If that's the worst part of your friendship, like you're winning.
For real, no, it's
for sure.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So as we can all attest, Annie and I really love our moms. And for these Somebody sessions, we thought it would be fun to ask one of them to submit a question to ask our Somebodies. And since there are 2 of you, there are 2 mom questions. So Annie, take it away.
No way.
Well, actually, I texted Mama Wilk and Mama J.
Oh yeah.
No.
You guys are close.
Yeah.
I know this.
Oh yeah. No, I love your mom. So I actually have 3 questions from each of them. So Bryce, this is going to be longer than you want it to be, but these are all so good.
I don't care.
So I'm going to alternate back and forth between you guys. Okay.
Love it.
So Jay, I'm going to you first. Your mom said, ask Jay if he can tell you about the quote adult book sale he held in our driveway.
She always brings this up. Okay, so we were having me and my buddy Joe Dare. I don't know if you know the Dares. But me and Joe, we were having we were gonna sell a bunch of my old kids' books. We wanted to make some like money on the side because we wanted to get like a video game or something. And these were books like we had both already read, and they were just like kind of sitting around. My brother had read them, his siblings had read them because we were both the youngest kids. And my parents were like, "Yeah, do a little book sale on the edge of the driveway." And so we had this basket filled with like a bunch of like, you know, kids' books. And then on the flip side, my dad was like, "Here, while you guys are at it, you know, maybe like people who are driving are usually older. So, you know, we have a lot of like, you know, dads and moms in the neighborhood driving by, you know, getting home from work and whatnot. So I'll give you a basket of my books and you can sell them. You can sell them as well." And so me and Joe made the signs for these, and we had the kids section said kids books, and then the adult section said adult books. And my mom keeps joking that there was like a line of like horny old men who thought they were like porn novels like lined up around the block, which I don't think was the case. I think she exaggerates it a little bit. There might have been one creepy dude who stopped by. You know, could have been a pedophile for all we know. Who knows? But yeah, we made some good money, you know, and
That's actually hilarious.
it was funny though. They always give me shit for it. My dad gives me the most shit for that, but it was funny as hell, honestly.
That's amazing.
Adult books,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
Like erotica
Okay.
novels, they all thought it was.
Sammy, this one's for you. Mama
is it?
Wilk said, "Sammy, can you please explain why you always had the sweeping duties during kitchen cleanup?"
I don't even know this. Oh my god.
I always had the sweeping duties because I was very good at getting out of post kitchen cleanup. I would look around the room and kind of just follow Ben around and like follow the sisters around. And so every time my mom would just like, "Sam, sweep duty," and it was a fucking leader job. Ben always got my favorite job, which is wiping down the counters. And so
What were the other jobs? What were the other jobs?
Do the dishes, sweep.
Someone had to neaten up the living room.
Yeah,
Neaten up.
living room. Yeah, you gotta neaten up living room,
Love
even the
that.
family room, do the
What were you
bathroom.
sweeping? Like, was it
Just the kitchen floor.
just dust? Because like
Yeah, just gotta-
you guys were all athletes, and
Yeah.
just like running through the house and shit.
We're all athletes.
Makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
Sammy would basically just walk around and make it seem like he was busy until finally mom picked up on it, and then because none of us wanted
Yeah.
to sweep because that you had to wait till everyone else was done before you could start.
The way that you said that, Sam, would look like your mom doing it. Like saying, "Sam, sweet dude."
Sweep the floor, Sammy.
That's hilarious.
Okay, this one's for Jack J. Your mom said, "What did you have to do to get the trampoline?"
Wow, to get the trampoline, I had to save up. I think it was $400, and I had to save up half of that. My parents said, and I was in first, going into second grade when I had this vision of getting it. And so you might ask yourself, how does a second grader, you know, accumulate $200? And I would save all my birthday money, all my Christmas money. The ice cream truck would go by, and like I would literally be like crying because I couldn't spend my money on it. And my dad, sometimes he would be nice and he would get me some, but he'd be like, "Hey, you want that trampoline?" And I was like, "Dad, you're such an asshole." But yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's a lot of money.
yeah. And so
that's
it was like
impressive.
2 years
I'm
worth
assuming
of
this is a
everything.
big trampoline.
Yeah, totally. Like had the net, the whole nine, and I think my dad ended up like adding a basketball hoop on it, which was like a couple $100 extra bucks, just like because you know he felt proud that I did this. And
Selling adult books.
yeah, I sold adult books.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was around the same time. But yeah, so all my Christmas money, all my Tooth Fairy money, just anything. I just refused to spend it on anything else for like 2 straight years, which definitely took a lot of willpower as a second grader because I didn't even know
Yeah.
know what the concept of money was. So like,
For sure.
That's so impressive.
That's
Because when you're that age, you get a $5 bill and you're like, "I'm rich."
yeah,
Like-
literally.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, 200? How am I ever gonna do this?
Yeah.
But I did it. I
It'll be
grounded
like
out.
my whole life. That's amazing. Okay, Sammy, Mama Wilk wants to know which scares you more: spiders,
Spider.
horseback riding, or the
Oh.
thought of jumping out of an airplane?
Wow. This is good, Mom. I'm going to say it's between spiders and horseback riding.
Right here.
And holy shit, I was supposed to go horseback riding on Saturday.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
I'm with you on that one, bro.
I mean, the last time I got on a horse was at our family trip, and I swear to God, that was the last time I'll ever get on a horse again.
That's crazy. I love horses.
I just don't trust them. I don't understand them. I heard they're like big dogs, but they don't act like that to me. So, like, I don't believe them. I actually got a stallion tattooed on my thigh in Mexico, which
You did?
Yeah, I got the stallion tattoo.
But it has wings. You
It's
would
got wings.
you would fly a horse, wouldn't you?
Or fly.
Oh, that's like a Pegasus.
No, it's a Pegasus, but I call it my stallion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a Pegasus. But no, I would say, I mean, I've been terrified. I would say I'm probably most scared of spiders.
Wow.
Wow.
But, like,
Interesting.
If you're like trotting on a horse, I feel like that but like galloping is a whole different
I'm
ball.
not getting on the horse. So I will never get on the horse. I'm not kidding. No chance.
I'm fully with you, bro.
Oh
I
my
didn't
gosh.
need that
Like
horse
all
to
like
do, and
same, bro. We were riding up this big mountain, and they're
it
like
took off. Did it take off on you?
well, like a moose like ran behind it, and all of our horses like went up next to each
Oh,
other, and like
yeah,
you didn't have no
no.
power at that point. And
I
I'll, like,
do
try to go
remember you
left.
did not like that. And
Why
Dad
did
had a
you wear a
dislocated
helmet?
shoulder.
Yeah, it was just the worst. Like yeah, it's so bad, so bad.
Yeah. Okay. Jack, last question. She
Two,
wants
three.
to know if
I like these
you
questions.
remember the topless beach in Aruba.
Jesus Christ, Mom. Why is she exposing me like this? Like, what the Oh my
I
god.
love
As
it. Mom,
soon
I
as
love
she
that,
sent
Mom.
them, I was like, thank you so much. These are gold.
Oh yeah, these are so gold. Okay, I guess I gotta explain. It's actually fucking hilarious. So we're in Aruba, and it's my first time at a topless beach, and I'm about like 3rd grade, 4th grade, starting to get a little past the cuties phase, and I'm I'm starting to develop crushes on girls, whatever.
Oh no.
I think my brother had showed me like my first like boobs.com website like a few years or like a few months prior, actually, before that trip. And so I was like, what are these objects? So we're at this topless beach, and I'm like, I tell my parents I'm gonna go like look for seashells. They actually have this footage. Holy shit, I need to find this footage. I told my parents I'm gonna like go up to this area to like look at shells and shit. And so my dad's fucking videotaping me the whole time, and I have no idea he's videotaping me. And so like there's this lady like reading the Da Vinci Code. I remember specifically because it was kind of right in front of her tits. And so and
Like a newspaper version of it.
and as I'm like looking at seashells, you just see me like every 3 seconds like peek back at the lady, and I'm like, and then I get back down there. My dad's still filming me. He's like, "Oh, you find some shells?" I was like, "Yeah, Dad." And I remember they played it for my entire like extended family, grandma, grandpa, everything, like at Christmas, like after we got back, because this was like a little bit like the early Christmas break. And we get back, or maybe it was like around New Year's, and they play it for my whole extended family, my grandparents, in my grandparents' living room in Bellevue. And this part was coming up on like the home footage, and I just pretended like I was asleep the entire time because I was so embarrassed. I was like, but yeah, I was trying to like people little
Oh, you're trying to get some boob action.
people little boob,
God,
That's
hilarious.
And I got caught in 4K or VHS, I guess, whatever you want to call it back then.
4K.
It was bad. It was really bad.
That's hilarious.
I was so ashamed.
I can
Oh
see
my
the
God.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Curious.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I was curious.
Yeah, that's hilarious, bro.
No, you acted very age appropriate at that time.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my parents were even
Okay.
like, "What was the lady looking at?" Or like, because they're like, "Were you looking back at that lady?" I was like, "Yeah, she was reading the Da Vinci Code." I remember I said that, like trying to cover my tracks, and they knew what I was doing.
I was
thought
trying to
was
read
fine.
it.
That was my
Yeah,
cover up.
I was
And,
trying
like
to
I thought it was the
cover.
perfect cover up, and then they weren't buying it.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Okay, Sammy, last question for you.
Whatever that. Yo, talk to
Okay,
me.
mom said if someone were to treat you to a free trip to a place that you've already been, where would you go and why?
Ooh.
A trip to a place I've already been.
Yes, all expense paid.
I loved Jamaica. I went
Mm-hmm.
to Jamaica to Ochos Rios. That was incredible. Maybe the Bahamas trip. I don't know. It's probably a tropical place. You what?
They're in the same region.
Yeah, I
I'm
think it would have to
surprised you
be.
didn't say Africa.
But I was gonna say I can go to Africa, which
was
is
thinking
a
that
it's a completely different world though. Like you're going for a different reason if you're going to the place I went in Africa. If I was trying to go for a vacation just to enjoy myself, like and lay on some sand, it would be probably Ochos Rios or Hawaii, like where we went for the sibling trip.
Yeah,
But
God,
if I
that
was
was
going
so
for a
fun.
different, like any other reason, I would have to go to Africa because Sierra Leone was like the most mind-blowing experience, like that opened my eyes the most in life ever. And I think you learn a lot over there. So I would say if it was, it would be between a white sand beach or Sierra Leone or Malawi.
Yeah,
going
that's fair.
to Africa would be like, that would just show you like how grateful you should be.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
No,
oh, like,
like during that time of my life, I was worried about which, it was when we first came into some money. So I was worried about like which Uber I would be seen in. And like, I went over there and I was like, dude, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
This shit does not matter.
Gave you some great perspective.
Oh yeah. That gave me a whole new perspective of life. So
No,
yeah.
when you told me about that trip, I was like, bro, like that sounds like the most eye-opening shit ever.
Incredible. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Those have been the mom questions. Those were amazing.
Those are awesome.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Jennifer. Those were incredible.
Moms
Yes.
killed them.
They
Shout out to
killed
moms.
them.
They always do. Every mom question is the best question that we have.
Yeah.
on.
Literally, shit I would never think about, Like, oh my God.
I know.
It's so ridiculous. All right. So to end our Somebody sessions, we like to ask everyone the same 3 questions. So these are rapid fire. Annie, will you take it away?
Yes. What is your favorite hard seltzer?
White Claw.
Probably White Claw, yeah. Trulies are
All right.
garbage. They taste like flat, like dishwater, honestly.
Except you just had a Truly the other day and you're like, this is.
Well, that was the lemonade based one, which was fire, but just a
Yeah.
classic. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty
Agreed.
over White Claws. Actually, COVID kind of, when it took my smell and taste, it like changed White Claw taste for me forever. And so I just can't really drink seltzers anymore. But if I were to choose, I would say White Claw because I had a lot of White Claws in my day.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. Second question is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I think I say this almost every time, which I think I should evolve more with this. But I think like dad or somebody, I think it was dad or something told me just to always trust your gut and follow your intuition. And I was like, shit, I'll try to do that as best I can.
It's great advice.
God don't lie.
Yeah.
But I think just trust your gut and follow your heart.
I would say for mine, I forget who it was. I think it might have been like Miss Shao, our marketing teacher.
Eat your
Low-key.
frogs.
Eat your frogs?
Never mind. You probably don't remember it.
I don't remember that one. No. That sounds kind of like Amazonian. But we had this like one day where it was just about like, just not being judgmental specifically. I remember that's like what the whole class was about. And we all actually sat around, all the kids in a circle, and had to like say like some shit that we were going through, or like whether it was the most traumatizing thing in your life. Do you remember that
That's
session?
crazy.
And it was about like, not judging people and being able to put yourselves in someone else's shoes and not being too quick to judge. And that's just like some of the realest shit ever, is because you truly have no idea what somebody's dealing with behind the scenes. And, it's very cliche, but it's like, walk a mile in my shoes and then see if you still like, feel the same way about me, Sometimes people are bitter because they have like, a lot of dark demons that they've been battling because let's say their fucking mom passed away and you don't even know this person, or like, let's say they were abused as a child. Like you have no idea until you really get to know somebody past the surface level, what the fuck they've gone through. So I just like, if somebody's addicted to me at any given point, I always try to be the bigger person. And I'm like, I don't know where that came from, but they probably have some issues within themselves, and I'm just not going to judge, and take a step back and not be too harsh, out of the gate. So that would probably be my best piece of advice.
I just read something.
That's a great one.
That's a really good one. I read something the other day, and it was on that, and it was like, if you take your top 5 biggest issues and put them in a bucket with, everybody else, you'll probably end up grabbing your 5 back.
Yeah, like you would prefer to have yours.
Yeah, like, yeah. I don't even know if that goes on with what you're saying, but
no, absolutely.
I think it's basically just like,
it's spot on. Okay, final question is, what do you guys believe that you are an expert of?
whoa,
That's a good question.
an
They
expert.
can be irreverent too. They don't have to be like.
An expert at reading the room.
Wow, I was gonna say fitting,
Another reason why you should be on Big Brother. Like.
Yeah.
Or I guess mine's a little different because I was gonna say like adapting to any given room. Like I could literally be in a studio session with like a bunch of like fucking hood motherfuckers from Compton, which I have before, like with top and shit, like literally guns on the table, like people with straps and shit, and like like I'm still like fucking Jack J, but like I know how to like adapt to any given situation. I feel like or like I could be like in a very
with what
very,
you guys
like,
do.
Be an Aspen with like some uppity up people or something, and I know how to like turn on my fucking posh vibe. I don't know, whatever it is, but it's still always me authentically at the root of everything. But I feel like I know how to be a social chameleon in a sense.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think
I wouldn't say I'm an expert though. I still got but I think I'm pretty good at it.
No, you are.
You're.
I think. Yeah, I think
But you said read the room.
I think read the room, which I think is essentially very similar to
But yours
adaptive.
is like, okay, like I should not have said that because of
or
the current
yeah.
atmosphere, you know, which I guess is similar
Yeah.
for sure. But there's some people who just can't read the room, bro. They'll say some shit. It's like, did you really just
It's like,
fucking?
dude, read the fucking
Yeah.
room.
Oh God.
I think you can. I think those are different, and I think that
Yeah.
you know, I think I can. I know that I can spot the difference.
There's like a little overlap in the Venn diagram, you know, maybe.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think they're similar, but I know the vibe you guys are going for, and I think you're both right.
Yeah, I do too. All right. Well, thank you guys. That's our show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh my God. You can follow them on Instagram. Sammy is at Sammy Wilk and Jay is at jvck.j. You can also follow their podcast at Parental Advisory Show on Instagram, and be sure to check out the Parental Advisory Podcast on all podcast platforms. New episodes every Tuesday.
Thank you guys for having us on. Like, seriously, this was so much fucking fun.
Yeah,
it's been a long time coming. I know you've been on before, but
yeah,
you know, I'm glad I finally got a chance to get on here. And yeah, that was super fucking fun. We appreciate you guys. If you do want to come by tonight, I know it's a weekday, Annie. Just let us know. All right.
I know.
We'll have a hard
Maybe Tina and
selfie
I
with
will
your name
stop
on
by.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's your birthday week, Jack. Before we go, do you have any big plans for the week, or do you just
nothing crazy? Just dropping a new song, and you know, hopefully filming a video tomorrow, and for the said song, and you know, gonna have some drinks with my boys. Just, you know, quarter century, baby.
Love it.
wow?
Beautiful.
Enjoy
Oh,
it.
crazy.
Enjoy it. All right, Andy, take it away.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. If you guys do not follow us on Instagram yet, please do so at nobodiespod, at Annie_Wilk, and at Bryce Advice. It's the exact same on TikTok. Twitter is at nobodiesthepod. Same for our personals, and you can always email us at noexpertallopinion@gmail.com. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star review.
Thanks, guys. We hope you have an amazing weekend.
And more importantly, a mediocre week. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Yo,
The Nobodies podcast is produced by me, Annie Wilkinson, and Bryce McClay.
It is recorded remotely in small, crummy apartments in the San Fernando Valley.